Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to do a kettlebell deadlift combined with a kettlebell row. This is a combination exercise, combining a very light deadlift with a row. I like to think of this as a workman's exercise because this is really what I consider to be a workman's deadlift, with your feet close together, lifting intermediate weights, and we are going to combine that with a row. This is a combination training exercise to get more out of each thing. Get a little bit more out of the row by combining it with something else. Get a little bit more out of the deadlift by combining it with something else. For this exercise, we are going to point our feet straight ahead. There's no need for turnout on this at all. We want to have our feet pointed straight ahead because that's the way we should generally walk. We are going to step up to our kettlebell. The kettlebell is going to be directly between the insteps of our feet, and our feet are going to be underneath our shoulders. Normal, nothing fancy deadlift. This is not a barbell deadlift because it's not that heavy. We don't have to do a bunch of stuff to get around the weight. 2 feet pointed straight ahead. Hands go into the hips. Sit back in your heels. Your knee should be behind the level of your toe. If you have driven forward, your heels are off the ground, or your knees are in front of your toes, consider that generally incorrect. And get your hips back, load the hamstrings. From here, we are going to point our thumb up or straight ahead. Fire the lat to connect the lat to the abs, to the hips. We are going to do the deadlift first. Stand all the way up. The kettlebell stays in the central line of our body. Squeeze your glutes. If your glutes are not squeezed at the top, you're not doing it right yet. Pull your kneecaps up. Make your leg as long as possible. Be tall. Get back down. Shift back into your heels in order to make sure you're using your hamstrings. From here, add a row. Pull your thumb to your armpit. Stand all the way up. Deadlift. Touchdown, row. Deadlift, touchdown, row. Deadlift, touchdown, row. Important things. At the bottom, your elbow is straight. Lean back against that weight. If you're trying to do this with your elbow bent on the deadlift, you're going to notice it sucks. Don't do that. We're trying to make a perfectly straight arm and fire the lat by driving the shoulder away from the ear to connect our lat to our abs, to our hips. If you go down lower in your elbow bends, lean back, lift your chest up to fire that lat to get to our proper position. The bottom of our deadlift is our row position. They're exactly the same. When we pull that hand, we're gonna pull the hand thumb towards armpit or thumb towards pec minor. Try and keep your elbow in a straight line instead of having it flare out to the side. We want to drag our elbow along our body and create friction all the way through that movement. Let's demonstrate it quickly on the other side. 2 feet point straight ahead, kettlebell between the instep of our feet, judo chop the hips, sit back on our heel, thumb points up or forward. Deadlift, stand all the way up. Make sure your lat is on. Drive your shoulder away from your ear. Sit back, lean against the weight, elbow straight. Do the row, touch the weight down, stand up. Initiate from the glutes, pull the kneecaps up, squeeze the glutes. Breathe behind the shield. This is always the same. Get down, row. Deadlift, row. Deadlift, row. Single kettlebell deadlifts are not the best deadlift because they are not super heavy, but they are a great deadlift to do for time. In the real world, you lift intermediate weights for long periods of time. If you're unloading a trailer full of bags of grain, they're 50 pounds, there's 100 of them. That's an endurance weightlifting activity. So we're always kind of shooting for our kettlebell in that range of 16 to 32K because that is the weight of a lot of stuff in the real world. Stand all the way up at the top, squeeze your glutes. If your glutes aren't squeezed, you're not doing it right. Pull your kneecap up, breathe behind the shield, fire your lat. This has been Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica.